AITA. Am I the a-hole for forcing my vegan daughter to cook meat? My daughter has been vegan for about a year. Me, my husband and her brother have tried to be as supportive as possible. We aren't a family that eats meat daily, so it wasn't that hard for me to accommodate her. When I do cook meat, I also make something else for her and keep the side dishes common for all. She does have some separate dishes, but most are common and I clean it if I have to cook for her. Few months into the vegan lifestyle, she tried to convince us to go vegan and would get increasingly angry when we said no. Me and husband shut that behavior down hard, and told her that she can follow whatever diet she wanted, but she cannot expect others to. She sulked for a while, but stopped doing that. Last weekend, I cooked the family a big pot of chili, a small vegan one and a large beef one, so that I can refrigerate it and use for the next week. Next day, I found the fridge empty of both the chili and turns out, my daughter decided that we were being too callous about meat. She felt the smell was too much when she opened the fridge door, and that she can't eat anything from the fridge after that without gagging or puking. She told me that I need to throw out all the vegan food in the fridge and restock them. Me and my husband were livid. Wasting food is never okay with us and that was a lot of food. I told her I am going to continue using the vegan products in the fridge, and she can either eat it or not, but I am not wasting food. That whole week she kept making faces at dinner while she ate. As a punishment, I gave her the recipe and told her she needs to buy them and cook it next weekend. She yelled and begged, but I stood firm. In the end, she did it. When the cooking was finished, I told her that wasting food is never okay in this house, and pointed out that instead of X amount of meat being used, 2X amount of meat, since this seems to be confusing. I meant as in X amount in the pot she wasted plus X amount in the new one. I didn't purposefully make her put more than what was used previously because she threw the food away. Now, she started crying and yelling at me about how awful and disgusting I was, because I not only forced her buy meat, which she is very much against, I also forced her to cook it and now I am also telling her that it was her fault. She is really upset about this. So, I am wondering if I went too far. Should I have picked a different punishment? My husband and brother definitely think what I did was right while my parents thinks I was in the wrong. I thought I will put it to a vote. AITA? Am I the a-hole? NTA. Not the a-hole. It's like you break it, you bought it, she ruined your chili, she is responsible for making it right. My point was to make her realize how much ingredients and time it took to make a batch of chili like that. Also maybe to show that throwing food away doesn't somehow magically bring the cow back to life. I could have made her do a batch of vegan chili, but I was worried it would set a trend of where she can keep throwing away food and as a result, she gets to make the entire family eat vegan. NTA. Not the a-hole. I am a vegan too and while I agree with your daughter's lifestyle choice, I do not agree with her approach in trying to recruit others. This is a personal choice and she shouldn't have thrown away your food. Sounds to me like you go out of your way to accommodate her. NTA. She needs to understand that not everything can go her way in life, and that actions have consequences. She shouldn't feel like she has that kind of authority or place to try to tell her parents what to do, let alone take it upon herself to throw out your food. It's like having a 3-year-old's problem-solving complex in a 16-year-old's body, by throwing fits and whining to try to get their way or thinking they can do things without consequences. Everyone has to learn it at some point. NTA. A punishment should fit the crime. That is exactly what happened here. She threw away an entire pot of food because she didn't like the smell. Replacing that food, both through purchase and preparation, is a fitting punishment. If she feels bad that twice as much meat was purchased and cooked because of her actions, that's because it's true. Hopefully this will keep her from getting kicked out of apartment with roommates later in life, because she's unlikely to throw away people's food again, just because she doesn't approve of it. Anta. Your daughter is old enough to know better than to waste food like that. The only alternative punishment to consider would be, to tell her fine, all the contaminated food can be replaced, but she has to pay for all of it since she is the one having the issue. You have been making reasonable accommodations for her dietary change that is self-imposed. If you wanted to take it a step further, you can tell her to buy a dorm-size fridge for her room, so her food doesn't have to be stored in the main fridge where you have animal products. But I would also tell her that it would become her responsibility to make her own food, since you will not go back and forth to her room while making meals. Anta. I am vegan, and your daughter was in the wrong here. You have respected and accommodated her choice, she needs to respect yours, and wasting food is never okay. Anta. One of the most important lessons to learn in life is that one must fix one's own mistakes. She destroyed your food. That means it's her responsibility to replace it. Making her purchase the ingredients and prepare the food is exactly what she should do to fix it. You didn't go too far. You went exactly as far as she should. If she is crying, remind her that she may make whatever choices she wants for herself, but that never gives her the right to destroy other people's property. If the smell of other people's food is too much for her, encourage her to buy her own mini fridge and keep her food in that. But she needs to understand that living in a house/living with people means respecting those people and their choices. If she wants to do a unique diet for herself, that's fine, but nobody else is under any obligation to change their own behavior in support. I'm actually going to say ESH. Everybody sucks here, because forcing someone who is against eating meat to cook it is absolutely disgusting in my opinion, and I'm a meat eater, and trust me, I could finish a rack of ribs in one sitting, but seriously, that's fraud to force her to cook meat. I'm at a loss for words as to how you decided to force her to go against everything she stands for. What a terrible person you are. As for her, she can't throw away other people's food and force her lifestyle onto others, just as you shouldn't force yours onto her. Throwing away all the food in the fridge is also awful, for reasons that I feel are too obvious to mention, but yeah, definitely ESH, but the harder a hole goes to OP. Oh my, there is a lot of unpack in your post. She crossed the line in her crusade, and had no right try and force her choices on the family and throw food away. As an aside, if she is committed to the cause, correct me if I am wrong, she's given up all animal products she finds offensive, including household, home, health, and beauty aids, and has thrown them out as well. Making her shop and cook meat. Well, I don't know. Mean, yes. Did it make a point? Yes. In the end, did the punishment fit the crime? My gut tells me she took it too far. And although extreme, she won't forget the lesson about tolerance, and the world not revolving around her and her beliefs. I kind of think ESH. Everybody sucks here. She was an ass and you doubled down. Mild ESH for making her cook meat in some weird twisted lesson. You could have punished her for the food waste in other ways. ESH. I say this as a meat eater. She is definitely in the wrong for obvious reasons and should be punished, but making her cook meat as a vegan is kind of disgusting, and kind of reinforces that pushing your lifestyle on others is okay, which is counterproductive to what you're actually trying to teach her. Professional chef with a master's degree in organic chemistry here, married to a PhD in child psychology and childhood education. I can definitely say that barring extremely rare diseases or pregnancy, the smell of properly cooked and stored food will not cause physical illness. Wife points out psychosomatic symptoms, and suggests that she might have an adverse reaction based on purely mental stimuli. While I think that the punishment may not have fit the crime, i.e. sacrifice your morale code for X amount of time and effort plus Y amount of money, I think that making her pay for the food cost and either replace it herself, or have her purchase an identical quantity and quality of food, i.e. it took 4 PCS of hamburger at $3.99 per PC plus 5 hours cooking time, plus driving time to / from the store to produce, and OPS hourly rate is $9.00/hour, meaning that the final cost is $70.00, or pay for the family members to dine out at a restaurant, may have been better as a lesson. Make her put her money where her mouth is. If she has no income herself, then the issue becomes significantly more difficult to resolve with financial compensation. NTA. I'm a vegan. I came here with a torch and pitchfork admittedly. But reading the story changed it. Don't frock with other people's food. And you're right. Now you are buying another meat thing. You know what? I can't stand the smell of chicken or pork or meat. But my family and my dogs eat it so tough shite. I've got celiac. She has no idea what contamination is, until she loses 3 days of her life to a severe reaction and it hurting to see, or anaphylaxis. Sorry for the rant, but people touching my food drives me nuts. My OCD runs rampant and it is just so unacceptable. Is it probably a bit harsh to make her cook meat when she hates it so much? Yeah. However, this is a life lesson and you aren't doing it just to be a duck. You don't try to decide what she eats, but she wants to decide what you eat. Dietary disagreements aside. Do not frock with people's food. If she wants new vegan food, I would say tally that shite up. Show her the bill and ask if she would like to purchase them herself. Vegan food is expensive as shite. Also, I don't know if she's one of those vegans that hate fake meat, but I made a Beyond Burger chili, and it was fabulous. Disclaimer. I am a former child, never been a parent to anything other than a bunny, but he's also vegan so we work out.